Hey everyone, it's me. Today we're going to look at a 1969 Japanese film in which Godzilla saves the planet from an invasion by hostile aliens who came from Mars. This is the story of War of the Gargantuas. This is the Kaiju Film Review. The year is 2065. Humanity has spread out among the stars, inhabiting many different planets and moons. One such colony is located on Venus. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, you might remember that Venus is actually a pretty terrible place to live, due to its crushing atmospheric pressure and intense temperatures. But hey, science and technology, right? Everything's possible. It's a huge surprise for the locals. As people watch in suspense, the ship opens up and what appears to be a large green alien emerges. It's actually an advanced robot created by the Venusians to explore Earth, collecting samples and taking measurements. It communicates with the Venus colony using telepathy. However, this friendly robot soon proves to be just a vanguard for the real invaders, who are much more hostile. Before long, large numbers of Venusians begin to arrive on Earth, causing massive earthquakes and volcanoes to erupt around the world. A small group of Venusians descend into the seafloor of the Pacific Ocean. They plan to use this energy to power their fleet of spaceships, which they will use to conquer and plunder Earth's resources. Meanwhile, deep in the Antarctic ice, something stirs. The last human on Earth awakens from cryosleep and finds himself in a decaying research facility. He quickly puts together that the rest of humanity has abandoned the planet, and indeed, he's the only human alive on the entire planet. This man's name is Dr. Kyohei Yamane. On Venus, a scientist named Dr. Kyohei Yamane works diligently to develop a way to combat the Venusian threat. However, his pleas for help are ignored by the military and the government. Just when all hope seems to be lost, Yamane is contacted by one of the robots. It turns out that this particular model had malfunctioned and taken pity on the humans. It leads Yamane to a hidden cave filled with ancient artifacts. Among these relics from a forgotten past is a strange egg. When Yamane touches the egg, it begins to glow. Suddenly, it hatches, releasing a creature known as Anguirus. Was originally an ordinary dinosaur that was caught up in the same cataclysm that turned Godzilla into a radioactive monster. Somehow it survived and lay dormant until Yamane inadvertently activated it with the strange egg. As the Venusians begin to siphon off the Earth's energy, causing the planet to overheat, Yamane knows that only one being can save the Earth now: Godzilla. But where can they find him? The answer lies deep within the Earth's crust, where Yamane discovers a vast cavern filled with slumbering monsters. These are the so-called kaiju giant monsters that have existed since prehistoric times. With the help of Anguirus, Yamane activates Godzilla, along with several other monsters. As the gargantuan beasts awaken from their slumber, Yamane uses a sonic weapon to calm them down. He then rides Anguirus through the monsters' secret city, looking for a way to stop the Soon, they find it, an ancient crystal that contains powerful energy. By harnessing the crystal's power, Yamane hopes to repel the Venusians and send them back to their own dimension. Their leader, King Ghidorah, learns that the Earth's core is dying. Without the energy it provides, their fleet of ships won't be able to leave the planet. To make matters worse, Godzilla has arrived. As the mighty kaiju makes his presence felt, the Venusians are forced to abandon their energy-absorbing project. Instead, they turn their attention to more immediate concerns. With their spaceships, they attack Godzilla and the other monsters. In the ensuing battle, some of the kaiju fall, but Godzilla proves more than a match for the Venusian invaders. As Godzilla battles the alien invaders, Yamane uses a special device to stabilize the Earth's core. Then, with Anguirus at his side, he sets out to destroy the Venusian spaceships. This is easier said than done, as the ships are protected by force fields, but Yamane manages to get close enough to deliver the final blow. With the spaceships destroyed, the Venusians are forced to retreat. However, their leader, King Ghidorah, is determined to stay and fight another day. Taking the form of a giant space serpent, Ghidorah attacks Godzilla. The two titans duke it out over Tokyo, destroying buildings and blocking out the sun with their enormous bodies. Yamane realizes that there's only one way to defeat the monster. Using the power of the ancient crystal, he fires a beam of energy at Ghidorah, weakening it. Godzilla takes advantage of this and delivers a powerful atomic breath attack. This proves to be too much for Ghidorah, who is blasted into outer space and crashes into the moon. With the Venusians repelled, Yamane and the others begin the long task of cleaning up the mess. Godzilla returns to the sea, while the surviving kaiju slumber once more. As far as anyone can tell, they're the only living things on the planet. Yamane, however, refuses to give up hope. With Anguirus by his side, he boards a spaceship and goes out among the stars in search of other humans. Somewhere in the vastness of space, a lone astronaut drifts through the cold void. His ship was destroyed in the chaos of the Venusian invasion. Luckily, he managed to escape in a small shuttlecraft and has been drifting in space ever since. Fortunately for him, Yamane spots the tiny vessel and rescues the astronaut. Reunited with his fellow human beings, Yamane feels that humanity's future is once again bright. In a post-credit scene, we see that Ghidorah actually survived the crash into the moon. Anguirus senses this and awakens from his slumber, roaring his defiance at the retreating Venusian fleet. Godzilla vs King Ghidorah has become a bit of a recurring theme in the Godzilla franchise, but this is actually the first time the two have ever met. King Ghidorah would go on to become one of the most popular and enduring kaiju, appearing in no less than 8 Godzilla films. Interestingly, King Ghidorah was also the first kaiju to appear on screen. He was featured in Rodan, the 1956 film that inspired the creation of Godzilla. This film also introduced the concept of the ancient Christo, which would go on to become a prominent plot device in the films of the 1970s. Ancient crystal is usually depicted as an immensely powerful artifact that predates even the dinosaurs. It's often used as a MacGuffin, an object of power that characters will fight over, but sometimes it's used as a weapon against the forces of evil. That's the case here, as Yamane uses the crystal to repel the Venusian invasion. Speaking of Yamane, he was the first of many scientists that would go on to become recurring characters in the Godzilla franchise. While the early films focused primarily on the monster battles, later installments began to incorporate human characters into the story. Often these characters were portrayed as bumbling fools, but every once in a while there would be a smart and resourceful scientist like Yamane. Unfortunately, he would also be the last, as the character of Dr. Kyohei Yamane would never be referenced again. It's interesting to compare this film to other monster movies of the time period, films throughout the 70s, and in some ways the two series complement each other. In both franchises, a giant monster is brought to a modern city where it wreaks havoc. In both cases, a human character tames the beast and uses it to fight an even greater threat. And speaking of the monsters, this film features one of the largest ensembles of kaiju in any single film. There are 7 kaiju featured in total, which makes sense considering that this was supposed to be the last Godzilla movie. Legendary kaiju like Mothra, Rodan, and even King Caesar make an appearance. It is a nice touch that the film ends with the implication that Anguirus will take over Godzilla's role as protector of the Earth. After all, Anguirus was originally meant to be the star of his own series of monster movies. But as we all know, Godzilla is truly the king of the monsters. Not only does it feature a truly unique villain in King Ghidorah, but the film explores some fascinating themes. The idea of humanity abandoning Earth in favor of other worlds is a truly terrifying one, and the portrayal of Venus as a dystopian nightmare is also very effective. Thanks for watching. Please share your thoughts below and check out my other videos. Leave a like if you enjoyed and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.